Welcome to the deep dive, where we take an eclectic, sometimes chaotic stack of source material articles, notes, interviews, and find that unexpected path through it all.
We try to deliver the insights, the aha moments, and the really fascinating nuggets right to you.
Our mission is always to get you well-informed and fast, but today we're sort of challenging the very idea of storytelling itself.
We're stepping away from verifiable reality. I mean, completely. And we're diving headfirst into a world that is meticulously detailed, critically acclaimed, and entirely fictional.
We're talking about Broadway, specifically the most talk-about, non-existent theatrical sensation of the 79th Tony Awards season.
It's a wild one.
That's right. Today, we're dissecting the powerhouse musical Good Morning Columbus, a show based on local morning news that somehow, against all odds, just dominated the conversation with 12 Tony nominations.
And this isn't just a fun what-if story. This is the deep dive into the 614's hypothetical moment in the national spotlight.
Exactly. It's also a fascinating critique of which stories we think are, worthy of the grandest stage.
And the why here is really the key. I mean, if a story about weather maps and traffic jams can get this level of success, it proves a vital point.
Which is?
That the most potent, relatable, and genuinely moving stories often come from the places we think are the most mundane, our daily routines. We're using this fictional show as a lens to analyze what it takes structurally to elevate the everyday.
So our mission is ambitious. We're going backstage. We're going into the jargon-filled control room and onto the United Palace Theater stage to understand the inspiration for this thing.
We want to know who the real heroes were that made it resonate and what made those Tony acceptance speeches so surprisingly personal and heartfelt.
Okay, let's unpack this journey from the traffic desk to center stage.
So the genesis of the show, as the sources lay it out, it's rooted in, necessity and a deliberate search for something lighter.
Right. The writer, Cricket Fox, she openly admitted she needed a positive shift in her own life.
It's interesting that the whole thing was born from pure silliness.
Yeah, the sources say she wrote the first drafts during a cricket match. The sport, not the bug, just as a distraction. It wasn't some calculated artistic effort.
It was just a raw pursuit of finding joy in a moment of personal upheaval.
And that lighthearted start was actually formalized by a challenge from her family. Her kids, Alicia and Mick, they were the ones who pushed her.
They did. They challenged her to step out of her creative comfort zone and to actively seek out and translate the happy stuff she saw into a real narrative.
That commitment to highlighting the warmth and camaraderie in, a daily working life, that's the whole foundation of Good Morning Columbus.
It really is. It's why it became more than just a local parody. It became something universal.
So that context sets the scene perfectly. Picture it. The 79th Annual Tony Awards. The host is the incredibly high-energy Ariana DeBose.
Always dancing.
Always. She introduces the performance from the surprise sensation, nominated for 12 Tonys, and we launch right into the most celebrated performance piece of the entire year.
The Good Day Medley. And it's designed to be this 15-minute distillation of the beautiful controlled chaos of a live morning show.
It opens, of course, with the most recognizable faces, the anchor duet. You've got Kurt Ludlow, who steps out and just builds this soulful power ballad, Breaking News in My Heart.
And what's fascinating is how the show elevates these, incredibly specific local details into major character traits.
Yes. Kurt is holding his signature prop, his Alani flavor of the day.
Which is brilliant stagecraft, because on a national stage, a local energy drink becomes this, cultural shorthand. It shows that even in the highest form of theater, genuine local pride, that 614 pride, is the currency.
Right alongside him is Katie McKee. She joins him for the high-energy duet Morning Magic, and what detail grounds her performance?
A cup of coffee and that framed picture of her dog, Penny the pup.
It's why the show works. It roots this huge Broadway spectacle in the very human need to bring a little piece of home to your workplace.
Then the structure just shifts completely. The tempo explodes into what they call the weather and traffic whirlwind.
This is where the local chaos gets the grand Broadway treatment.
Exactly. It shows the multitasking, the pressure of the job. Andrew Buckmichael comes forward to perform the Buckosphere Shuffle.
The sources are so specific here. He's sliding across the stage with a glittering computerized weather map. He's throwing literal confetti snow over the audience.
All while frantically trying to check his Twitter mentions mid-song.
It captures that modern reality of being a meteorologist and a social media personality at the same time.
And traffic is the perfect counterpoint. Alyssa Henry appears in a sequined headset. It's Broadway, to lead this spectacular kick line of commuters.
And the song is the I-71 congestion catastrophe.
Wait, a synchronized dance about a traffic jam?
Yeah.
How did they make that resonate with voters?
Well, the sources say the choreographers use these really technical angular movements to mimic the sudden jolts of rush hour traffic.
So it's a juxtaposition.
Exactly. The precision of the kick line against the frustration of the slowdown. It's a visual metaphor. The commuters are trapped, but the dancers are moving with this, absolute chaotic grace.
Wow, that's some serious theatrical kinetic energy.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the show doesn't just stop with the on-air talent, it makes this incredibly bold structural choice.
It recognizes that the real magic doesn't happen on camera.
It shifts its focus to what they call the control room, the invisible magic.
And this segment is the show's masterpiece.
Yes.
It's the aha moment. For the audience, it just pulls back the curtain on the sheer labor that goes into the illusion of an effortless broadcast.
The stage action freezes, the music stops, and suddenly, two massive screens drop from the rafters, and they spotlight the actual unsung heroes.
On one screen, we see Ben, the director. He's frantically calling out shots, and you hear the real jargon-heavy dialogue. Camera 2, cue the graphics, go to commercial.
It's the real language of the newsroom, right there on center stage.
And on the other screen, there's Jessica, the producer. The sources describe her as a human circus performer, juggling a phone, a script, coffee, navigating some crisis.
And together, they launch into this blistering high-speed number called, fittingly, Seconds to Air.
The structure of that song is key. It's a classic patter song.
Right, for anyone unfamiliar, a patter song is super rapid fire. A ton of words in quick succession. Think Gilbert and Sullivan, or even Hamilton.
It's the perfect technical choice to represent the maximum stress of a job that operates under insane time constraints. The speed of the delivery mirrors the frantic pace of the job.
It turns this stressful administrative work into this intricate, memorable artistic performance. It's the moment you realize how desperately coordinated that scramble behind the scenes really is.
And that recognition continues right out onto the stage with the floor crew finale. The anchors rejoin the stage.
But now they're joined by the true logistical heartbeat of this set, Kenya, Jeffrey, Katie, and Alani John.
All wearing glittery floor crew headsets, a great touch.
And they execute this perfectly synchronized prop-moving dance. They're clearing the stage of construction barrels and traffic cones in record time.
So it's not just filler. It's an acknowledgement that the stage crew's muscle memory is just as vital to the broadcast as the anchors' voices.
The choreography conveys this idea of shared purpose. Every single person on that stage is working toward the exact same goal.
And they bring the whole medley to this spectacular club.
The entire cast anchors, reporters, producers, crew, they form a massive kick line and spell out COLUMBUS.
And the detail that ties it all together.
Confetti, shaped like buckeye leaves, rains down on the whole theater, a spectacular, detailed love letter to the 614.
I mean, that performance alone had to have secured a ton of votes heading into the awards.
Absolutely. And this is where the emotional core of our sources really comes out, moving past the spectacle to the human connections.
Okay, let's talk about the awards themselves. Starting with the creator. Cricket Fox wins Best Book of a Musical.
Her speech was just incredibly personal. She connected her physical recovery to her creative success.
She did. She dedicated the award to her late husband, Phil, and she thanked the actual ABC6 crew and the Spy Cam family. But the part that really resonated in the sources was her nod to her own resilience.
She said she felt the strength of the medial rod in her leg, a literal piece of scaffolding.
Which gave her the internal scaffolding she needed for that walk to the stage. That raw dedication, bridging physical recovery and artistic triumph, it grounded the entire night in something deeply personal.
Then the Best Actor award was just pure classic theater.
Before the announcement, Kurt Ludlow's stage counterpart sings his signature snippet, "This is my Alani." Perfect bit of meta-marketing.
And then the legend, Cheetah Rivera, walks out to present, the gravity of the moment. And when she announces Kurt Ludlow as the winner,
The sources describe him as being in just pure shock.
Cheetah literally had to nudge him toward the microphone.
And this was the story pivots from success to vulnerability. He thanks his wife Laura, the staff, and yes, his beloved Alani.
But the moment that silenced the entire theater was his tearful acknowledgement of this quiet grief. I miss my mate Merlin.
That quiet grief, shared in a moment of absolute public triumph winning a Tony. That's what defines the show's emotional power.
It's the contrast between the huge glittering stage and the tiny private loss of a pet that connected with millions of viewers. The sources even note Cheetah, a known animal lover, putting a comforting hand on his back.
It just underscores the show's whole theme. True life exists behind the spectacle.
Moving to Best Actress, Katie McKee also won. Her big number was Rush Hour, which is apparently so memorable she performed a bit of it with Cheetah Rivera during the broadcast.
And her acceptance speech continued that theme of vulnerability and workplace connection.
She talked about the personal challenge of moving to Columbus, how she had to learn the flow of traffic from the veteran reporter Mike Kilburn.
But the most personal line was about her own support system. She mentioned missing her best friend, Jessica, who had just moved to the evening shift.
It reinforces that the bonds forged under the daily pressure are just as important as the fame. It was a testament to team effort, not just star power.
Then you have the music itself, which captured this hyper-specific reality of life in the Midwest.
Andrew Buck. Michael won Best Original Song for the wonderfully practical Running in the Snow, Not Breaking My Leg.
I love the presenter's intro for this one. The legendary Jerry Orbach gets a huge cheer, and he sets the stage. He says, "Writing a score is like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Some people write about cats, some write about magic."
And some apparently write about surviving the winter. That line alone just validates the whole premise.
Buck was described as the most genuinely stunned winner of the night. His thanks were specific, directed to Sarah and Phil in the weather department.
Again, emphasizing the strength of their team, a song about physical endurance in the cold is ultimately about the support system around you.
And we have to emphasize that the whole production was honored. The sources note a rapid-fire mention of other big wins that validated that control room segment.
Right. Ben took home Best Director, Jessica won Best Producer.
And the stage crew Kenya, Jeffrey, Caddy, and Lonnie Jana, they collectively won for Best Stage Crew. The entire ecosystem of the newsroom was honored, not just the faces in front of the camera.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. It's about the successful elevation of the entire working structure. The show didn't just celebrate the stars, it made sure the people cueing the graphics and moving the props got their moment too.
So what does this all mean?
Well, the journey from the traffic desk to center stage proves a powerful point. Broadway celebrates fame, sure, but Good Morning, Columbus succeeded because its real heart was in the authentic bonds of its team.
Exactly. From Katie's tearful acknowledgement of missing her friend Jessica to Kurt's raw, quiet moment for Merlin. These were real, grounding human emotions that transcended the glitter.
The awards weren't just for the songs, they were for the camaraderie, the shared struggle, and the team that got them through the daily grind.
And the ultimate takeaway, as Jerry Orbach supposedly told them all backstage with a wink, was simply, "That's show business, kids."
This deep dive proves that the most successful stories are often the ones that authentically capture the heart and spirit of a dedicated, hardworking team. It shows that even the person juggling a script and a coffee is worthy of a Tony nomination.
So, if something written out of pure silliness and inspired by a challenge to find the happy stuff can win 12 Tonys, what unexpected source of inspiration are you overlooking in your everyday routine?
What story, what human drama is waiting to be written in your own control room? That's a provocative thought to mull over until our next deep dive.